Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Your life is not controlled by your situation. It is controlled by your thoughts. Every decision you make, every action you take, and every feeling you experience starts in your mind. If your thoughts are negative, confused, or uncontrolled, your life becomes stressful and unproductive. But if your thoughts are clear, focused, and controlled, your life becomes powerful and peaceful. The truth is simple. If you do not control your thoughts will control you. In this video, we will learn powerful lessons on how to control your thoughts and master your mind. Lesson 1. You are not your thoughts. The first and most important step to controlling your thoughts is understanding this powerful truth. You are not your thoughts. Many people live their entire life believing every thought that appears in their mind. If a negative thought comes, they accept it as truth. If a fearful thought appears, they feel afraid. If a doubtful thought arises, they lose confidence. But this is a mistake. Thoughts are not facts. They are simply mental events that come and go. Your mind is constantly producing thoughts, just like your heart is constantly beating. You do not control every heartbeat, and in the same way, you do not control every thought that appears. But you can control how you respond to those thoughts. For example, imagine a negative thought appears in your mind. I am not good enough. If you believe this thought, it will affect your emotions. You may feel sad, insecure, or discouraged. This can stop you from taking action. But if you step back and observe the thought, you will realize something important. This is just a thought. It is not reality. It is not a fact. It is simply a sentence created by your mind. This small realization creates distance between you and your thoughts. Instead of being controlled by them, you begin to observe them. This is called awareness. When you are aware, you do not react immediately. You pause. You notice the thought. And then you decide whether to believe it or not. This is where your power lies. Another important truth is that not all thoughts are useful. Some thoughts help you grow. They motivate you, guide you, and improve your decisions. But many thoughts are negative, repetitive, and unnecessary. They create fear, doubt, and confusion. If you accept every thought as truth, your mind becomes crowded with negativity. But when you understand that thoughts are just temporary, you stop giving importance to every thought. You become selective. You choose which thoughts to follow and which to ignore. Another powerful way to understand this is to imagine your thoughts as clouds in the sky. The sky represents you. The clouds represent your thoughts. Clouds come and go. Some are light, some are dark. But the sky remains the same. In the same way, thoughts come and go. But your true self remains calm and stable. You do not need to chase every cloud. You do not need to react to every thought. You can simply observe and let it pass. This practice reduces stress. It reduces overthinking. It gives you mental clarity. Another important point is that when you stop identifying with your thoughts, you gain control over your emotions. Because emotions are often created by thoughts. If you believe a negative thought, it creates negative emotions. But if you do not accept it, the emotion becomes weaker. This is how you begin to control your mind. Another powerful benefit is that it improves your decision-making. When you are not controlled by every thought, you can think clearly. You can make better choices. You are not reacting emotionally. You are responding calmly. The truth is simple. You cannot stop all thoughts from coming. but you do not need to. You only need to understand that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. And once you realize this, you take back control. You stop being controlled by negative thinking. You become calm, aware, and focused. That is the first and most powerful step to mastering your mind. Lesson 2. Focus shapes your thoughts. The second powerful step to controlling your thoughts is understanding this truth. Your thoughts follow your focus. Your mind is always active, but it does not create thoughts randomly. It creates thoughts based on where your attention is placed. Where your focus goes, your thoughts grow. If you focus on problems, your mind will create more problems. If you focus on fear, your mind will create more fearful thoughts. If you focus on negativity, your mind will become negative. But the opposite is also true. If you focus on solutions, your mind becomes calm. If you focus on progress, your thoughts become positive. If you focus on learning, your mind becomes stronger. This is the power of focus. For example, imagine you make a small mistake. If you keep thinking about that mistake, your mind will start creating more negative thoughts. You may think, I always make mistakes. I am not good enough. These thoughts grow because your focus is on the mistake. But if you shift your focus, something changes. Instead of thinking about the mistake, you can think, what can I learn from this? How can I improve next time? Now your thoughts become constructive. The situation did not change, but your focus changed. And because your focus changed, your thoughts changed. Another important truth is that your brain looks for what you focus on. If you focus on problems, your brain searches for more problems. If you focus on opportunities, your brain starts noticing opportunities. This is why two people can live in the same situation but think differently. One person focuses on difficulties, the other focuses on possibilities. And because of that, their thoughts, emotions, and actions become different. Another powerful point is that focus is a choice. Many people believe they cannot control their thoughts, but in reality, they are not controlling their focus. They allow their attention to move automatically toward negative things. They follow every distraction, every fear, and every negative idea. But when you become aware, you can guide your focus. You can choose where to place your attention. For example, when a negative thought appears, you can ask yourself, is this helping me? Can I focus on something better? Then you can shift your attention. You can focus on your work, your goals, or something positive. This simple shift reduces negative thinking. Another important technique is limiting negative input. Your thoughts are influenced by what you see and hear. If you constantly watch negative content or listen to negative people, your mind will absorb that energy, and your thoughts will reflect it. But if you choose positive and useful input, your thoughts improve. Your environment plays a big role in shaping your focus. Another powerful method is focusing on action. When you are busy doing something meaningful, your mind has less time to create unnecessary thoughts. Action keeps your mind engaged. It reduces overthinking. It improves clarity. Another important benefit of controlling your focus is emotional stability. When your focus is scattered, your thoughts become unstable. But when your focus is controlled, your mind becomes calm. You feel more balanced. You respond better to situations. Another truth is that you cannot focus on everything. Your attention is limited. If you waste it on unimportant things, you lose control of your thoughts. But if you protect your focus and use it wisely, your thoughts become stronger and clearer. The truth is simple. Your thoughts are not the problem. Your focus is the key. When you learn to control your focus, you automatically control your thoughts. You stop feeding negativity. You start creating clarity. And once you control your focus, you begin to control your mind. That is how focus becomes the foundation of strong and positive thinking. Lesson 3. Replace negative thoughts. The third powerful step to controlling your thoughts is learning how to replace negative thoughts. One important truth you must understand is this: you cannot stop thinking completely. Your mind will always create thoughts. If you try to force your mind to stop thinking, it often becomes even more active. Negative thoughts may come again and again, and you may feel frustrated. But the solution is not to stop thoughts. The solution is to replace them. Think of your mind like a space that cannot stay empty. If you remove one thought, another will take its place. So instead of trying to remove negative thoughts completely, you must learn to replace them with better, stronger, and more useful thoughts. For example, imagine a thought appears in your mind. I cannot do this. If you accept this thought, it will reduce your confidence. It may stop you from taking action. But if you replace it with a better thought, I will try and I will improve. Now your mind becomes more positive and active. The situation did not change, but your thinking changed. And because your thinking changed, your emotions and actions also change. Another example, instead of thinking, I always fail, you can replace it with, I am learning and improving. This does not mean you are ignoring reality. It means you are choosing a more useful and constructive way to think. Another important truth is that negative thoughts often come automatically. They're based on past experiences, fear, or habit. Your mind is used to thinking in a certain way. This is why negative thoughts feel natural. But with practice, you can train your mind to think differently. This is called mental training. Every time a negative thought appears, you have a choice. You can follow it, or you can change it. At first, this may feel difficult. Your mind may go back to negative thinking again and again. But with repetition, your brain starts learning new patterns. Over time, positive and balanced thinking becomes more natural. Another powerful method is questioning your thoughts. When a negative thought appears, do not accept it immediately. Ask yourself, is this 100% true? Is there another way to look at this? Is this thought helping me or hurting me? These questions create awareness. They weaken the negative thought, and they make it easier to replace it. Another helpful technique is using neutral thoughts. Sometimes it is not easy to jump from a negative thought to a very positive one. In that case, you can use a neutral thought. For example, instead of I will fail, you can think, I will try and see what happens. This reduces pressure. It calms your mind. Another powerful benefit of replacing thoughts is emotional control. Your emotions follow your thoughts. If your thoughts are negative, your emotions become negative. But when you change your thoughts, your emotions also change. You feel calmer, more confident, and more focused. Another important point is consistency. You must practice this daily. One time is not enough. Every time a negative thought appears, you must replace it. Over time, this becomes a habit. Your mind starts choosing better thoughts automatically. The truth is simple. You cannot control every thought that appears, but you can control which thoughts you keep. When you replace negative thoughts with better ones, you change your mindset. And when your mindset changes, your actions change. And when your actions change, your life begins to change. That is how replacing your thoughts becomes a powerful step toward controlling your mind. Lesson 4. Control your environment. The fourth powerful step to controlling your thoughts is this: control your environment. Your thoughts are not created only inside your mind. They are strongly influenced by what you see, what you hear, and the people around you. Your environment shapes your thinking. If your environment is negative, your thoughts will become negative. If your environment is positive, your thoughts will become stronger and clearer. For example, imagine you spend a lot of time watching negative content, listening to people who complain, or being around individuals who always talk about problems. Slowly, your mind begins to absorb that energy. You start thinking the same way. Your thoughts become heavy, doubtful, and negative. But now imagine the opposite. You spend time learning, listening to positive ideas, and being around people who focus on growth. Your thoughts begin to change. You feel more motivated, clear, and focused. This shows that your environment directly affects your mind. Another important truth is that your brain absorbs information constantly. Even when you are not fully aware, your mind is picking up signals from your surroundings. What you watch, what you read, what you listen to, all of it enters your mind. And over time, it becomes your thinking pattern. This is why controlling your environment is so important. One simple way to do this is to choose your input carefully. Be mindful of what you watch on your phone. Limit unnecessary content that wastes time or creates negativity. Instead, choose content that teaches, inspires, or improves your thinking. Another powerful method is to choose your company wisely. The people you spend time with influence your thoughts. If you are around people who are negative, lazy, or always complaining, it will affect your mindset. But if you are around people who are focused, disciplined, and positive, your thinking will improve. You begin to think like them. Another important point is your physical environment. A clean and organized space creates clarity in your mind. A messy and unorganized space creates distraction and confusion. For example, if your workspace is clean and simple, your mind feels calm. You can focus better. But if your space is cluttered, your mind feels overwhelmed. This affects your thoughts. Another powerful technique is to create a focused environment for work. When you are working or studying, remove distractions. Keep your phone away. Choose a quiet place. This helps your mind stay focused on one task. And when your focus improves, your thoughts become more controlled. Another important benefit of controlling your environment is reducing negative triggers. Sometimes certain places, people, or activities trigger negative thinking. When you become aware of these triggers, you can avoid or manage them. This protects your mind. Another powerful habit is creating a positive daily environment. Start your day with something good. Read something useful. Listen to something positive. This sets the tone for your thoughts. Your mind becomes more calm and focused. Another important truth is that you cannot control everything in your environment. But you can control what you choose to focus on. Even in a negative situation, you can choose positive input. You can protect your mind. The truth is simple. Your environment is shaping your thoughts every day. If you do not control your environment, it will control your thinking. But when you choose what you see, hear, and experience, you take control of your mind. You create a space where positive and clear thoughts can grow. And once your environment supports your thinking, controlling your thoughts becomes much easier. That is how your environment becomes a powerful tool to master your mind. Lesson 5. Practice awareness daily. The fifth powerful step to controlling your thoughts is practicing awareness every day. Awareness is the ability to observe your thoughts without reacting immediately. Most people are not aware of their thoughts. They think automatically. A thought comes, and they follow it without questioning it. If the thought is negative, they feel negative. If the thought is stressful, they feel stressed. This happens because there is no awareness. But when you become aware, everything begins to change. Awareness creates a gap between you and your thoughts. Instead of reacting instantly, you pause, you observe, and then you decide how to respond. For example, imagine a thought appears in your mind. This is too difficult. Without awareness, you may feel discouraged and stop trying. But with awareness, you notice the thought. You recognize it. And then you can respond differently. You can say, "This is just a thought. I can try step by step." This small pause changes everything. Another important truth is that awareness gives you control. When you are aware, you are not controlled by every thought. You are choosing your response. You are guiding your mind. This is real control. Without awareness, your thoughts control you. With awareness, you control your thoughts. Another powerful benefit of awareness is that it reduces overthinking. When you are not aware, your mind keeps repeating the same thoughts again and again. You get stuck in a loop. But when you observe your thoughts, you break that loop. You stop feeding the same thoughts. This brings calmness. Another helpful way to practice awareness is to check your thoughts regularly. During the day, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Is this thought useful? Is it helping me or hurting me? These simple questions bring awareness. They help you see your thoughts clearly. Another powerful method is to slow down your reactions. When something happens, do not react immediately. Take a small pause. Breathe. Observe your thoughts, then respond. This habit improves your control. Another important technique is writing your thoughts. You can take a few minutes to write what you are thinking. This helps you see your thoughts clearly. When thoughts are in your mind, they feel powerful. But when you write them, they become easier to understand and manage. Another powerful benefit of awareness is emotional control. Your emotions are connected to your thoughts. When you are aware of your thoughts, you understand your emotions better. You do not get overwhelmed easily. You stay calm. Another important point is that awareness improves decision-making. When you are aware, you do not react based on emotions. You think clearly. You choose better actions. This improves your life. Another truth is that awareness is a skill. It does not come automatically. You must practice it daily. At first, you may forget. You may react without thinking. But with practice, awareness becomes stronger. Over time, it becomes natural. Another powerful habit is mindfulness. Mindfulness means being present in the moment. When you focus on what you're doing right now, your mind becomes calm. You are not lost in past or future thoughts. This reduces unnecessary thinking. The truth is simple. You cannot control what you are not aware of. Awareness is the first step to control. When you observe your thoughts daily, you begin to understand them. When you understand them, you can guide them. And when you guide your thoughts, you take control of your mind. That is how daily awareness becomes the foundation of mental control. Lesson 6. Do not overthink. The sixth powerful step to controlling your thoughts is learning how to stop overthinking. Overthinking is one of the biggest reasons people feel stressed, confused, and mentally tired. It may feel like you are trying to solve a problem, but in reality, you are only repeating the same thoughts again and again. Overthinking does not create clarity. It creates confusion. For example, imagine you have to make a simple decision. Instead of deciding and moving forward, you start thinking about every possible outcome. What if this goes wrong? What if I make a mistake? What will people think? Your mind keeps creating new questions, and instead of moving forward, you feel stuck. This is overthinking. Another important truth is that overthinking is often connected to fear. You think too much because you want to avoid mistakes. You want everything to be perfect. But perfection is not real. No decision is completely risk-free. Waiting for perfect clarity only delays action. Overthinking keeps you in your mind. But progress happens through action. Another powerful truth is that thinking has a limit. Thinking is useful when it leads to a decision, but when it becomes repetitive, it loses its value. It becomes a loop, and that loop drains your energy. To control your thoughts, you must learn to break this loop. One simple way to do this is to set a limit for thinking. Give yourself a short time to think about a problem. After that, make a decision. Do not keep going back to the same thoughts again and again. This creates mental discipline. Another powerful method is to shift from thinking to action. Instead of asking too many questions, take a small step. For example, if you are unsure about something, try it. Experience gives more clarity than thinking. Action reduces confusion. Another important technique is focusing on what you can control. Overthinking often happens when you focus on things outside your control. You think about the future, other people's opinions, or uncertain outcomes. But these things cannot be controlled. Instead, focus on your actions. Ask yourself, what can I do right now? This brings your mind back to the present. Another helpful method is simplifying your decisions. Many people overthink because they try to make everything perfect. But most decisions do not need perfection. They need action. Keep things simple. Choose one option and move forward. You can always adjust later. Another powerful benefit of stopping overthinking is mental peace. When your mind is not constantly repeating thoughts, you feel calmer. You feel lighter. You can focus better. Another important point is that overthinking often creates problems that do not exist. Your mind imagines situations that may never happen. This creates unnecessary stress. But when you stop overthinking, you deal with reality, not imagination. Another powerful habit is to stay busy with meaningful work. When your mind is engaged in useful activity, it has less time to overthink. Action keeps your thoughts under control. Another important truth is that clarity comes from doing, not thinking. You understand more when you take action. You learn from experience. You improve step by step. The truth is simple. Overthinking does not solve problems. It delays solutions. It creates confusion and stress. But when you reduce overthinking and focus on action, your mind becomes clear. You make better decisions. You move forward with confidence. And that is how controlling overthinking helps you control your thoughts and take control of your life. Lesson 7. Train your mind with discipline. The final and most powerful step to controlling your thoughts is this. Train your mind with discipline. Just like your body becomes strong through regular exercise, your mind becomes strong through daily training. Controlling your thoughts is not something that happens in one day. It is a skill, and every skill improves with practice. Many people want a calm and controlled mind, but they do not train it. They expect their thoughts to change automatically. But without discipline, the mind follows old habits. It continues to think in the same way. This is why discipline is necessary. Discipline means training your mind every day, even when it feels difficult. For example, when a negative thought appears, your mind may naturally follow it. But discipline means stopping and choosing a better thought. At first, this may feel uncomfortable. Your mind may resist. But each time you choose control, you strengthen your mind. Another important truth is that your mind follows patterns. If you repeat the same thoughts again and again, they become habits. If you think negatively every day, your mind becomes used to negativity. But if you train your mind to think clearly and positively, that also becomes a habit. This is how discipline changes your thinking pattern. Another powerful method is daily mental practice. You can spend a few minutes every day observing your thoughts, calming your mind, and focusing your attention. This could be simple breathing, sitting quietly, or just watching your thoughts. This practice builds awareness and control. Another important technique is self-control in small moments. Discipline is not only about big changes, it is about small decisions. For example, when you feel like overthinking, you choose to stop. When you feel distracted, you bring your focus back. When you feel negative, you replace the thought. These small actions train your mind. Over time, they create strong mental control. Another powerful benefit of discipline is consistency. One day of control is not enough. You must practice daily. Even small effort every day creates strong results over time. This consistency builds mental strength. Another important truth is that discipline gives you control over your reactions. Instead of reacting immediately to every thought, you pause. You think clearly. You respond with control. This improves your emotions, your decisions, and your actions. Another advantage is confidence. When you train your mind and control your thoughts, you begin to trust yourself. You feel stronger. You feel more stable. You know that you can handle difficult situations. This builds deep confidence. Another powerful point is that discipline reduces mental chaos. Without discipline, your thoughts are scattered. Your mind keeps jumping from one idea to another. But with discipline, your thoughts become organized. You focus on what matters. You feel calm. Another important habit is protecting your mind daily. Just like you take care of your body, you must take care of your mind. Avoid negative input. Choose positive influences. Stay aware of your thinking. This daily care keeps your mind strong. The truth is simple. Your mind will not become strong on its own. You must train it. You must guide it. You must discipline it. When you practice daily, your thoughts become clearer. Your reactions become calmer. Your focus becomes stronger. And over time, you gain full control over your thinking. That is how discipline becomes the key to mastering your mind. And when you master your mind, you master your life. If you enjoyed this video and found these lessons helpful, make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful content. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.